7 times. Australia's women have lifted the Cricket World Cup 7 times. More than any other nation on Earth. But here's what nobody talks about. Every single time they were pushed to their absolute limit, it was often a team from the Caribbean that made them sweat. The West Indies women didn't just compete against Australia. They shaped them. To understand why this rivalry matters, you have to understand what women's cricket was fighting against for decades. Invisibility. These athletes trained just as hard, competed just as fiercely, and for most of cricket's history, almost nobody was watching. The Australia versus West Indies women's matches weren't just games. They were arguments made in runs and wickets that women's cricket deserved a stage. And the West Indies had every reason to make that argument loudly. They won the very first Women's Cricket World Cup in 1973, before most people even knew the tournament existed. That founding victory planted something deep in Caribbean cricket culture. A belief that they belonged at the top. That belief never fully left, even as Australia began building something extraordinary. What Australia built was systematic dominance. 7 World Cup titles, 5 T20 World Cup trophies, a winning rate above 70% in ODIs against the West Indies. But statistics like these can be misleading. They suggest ease. They suggest inevitability. The truth is messier and far more interesting. Behind every percentage point is a match where the result was genuinely uncertain until the final over. Consider 2014, when Australia posted 321 for 7 against the West Indies in a single ODI innings. That number felt almost fictional for women's cricket at the time. But the West Indies responded, not with surrender, but with a counterattack that forced Australia to earn every run in the field. Aggressive batting wasn't Australia's invention. The Caribbean brought that energy too, and it permanently raised the standard of what these matches could be. Then there are the players who made these numbers human. Ellyse Perry, 115 T20 wickets for Australia, at an average that would make most bowlers envious. Stephanie Taylor for the West Indies, a captain who could bat, bowl, and carry an entire team's hope on her shoulders simultaneously. Deandra Doughton, whose power hitting rewrote expectations. These weren't just athletes. They were proof of concept for an entire generation of girls watching. Australia's recent form tells one story: 15 wins from their last 20 ODIs against the West Indies, 10 from 12 in T20s. But form is a snapshot, not a verdict. Cricket has a long memory and a short attention span. The West Indies have beaten Australia when it mattered most, in moments that statistics quietly erase from the headline narrative but that players never forget. Here is the twist that reframes everything. The West Indies' 2 World Cup victories both came before Australia's dynasty truly began. Meaning the Caribbean didn't just participate in women's cricket history, they started it. Australia's dominance exists in the shadow of West Indian pioneering. The student eventually surpassed the teacher, but the teacher built the classroom. This rivalry matters right now because women's cricket is no longer fighting for visibility. It's fighting for its rightful place at the center of the sport. Every packed stadium, every broadcast deal, every young girl picking up a bat traces a line back to matches exactly like these. 2 teams refusing to let the other define the ceiling. That's not just sport. That's how progress actually works. What does it take to build something that lasts in sport, in life, in anything worth doing? Maybe it starts with 2 teams on a pitch, each believing they deserve to win. Subscribe to factstormhub. We tell stories like this every day. Full article on factstormhub.com.